Hello, this is Syed Wasi, and I'm back again with another topic of PTE. And today I'm going to talk about the reorder paragraph part of reading section. So many of you have shown interest to learn about reorder paragraphs. I know that there are a number of video lessons on YouTube on this topic, but I will try to solve this problem from my own point of view. And again, that will be an expert view because I'm the specialist of PT in Bangladesh, training at the PT test center, which is called TUFSUL Bangladesh. So let's start with the basics of this task, which is called reorder paragraphs. Remember, you have to be quite observant in this task, and that comes with practice, because you have to match 4 to 5 paragraphs that are not in order. So you have to find the introduction and then basically the other connecting paragraphs after that. So observation, close observation is quite important, and then you have to do it within a very short time, that is maximum 2 or 2.5 minutes. So the first thing that you have to do is find out the introduction, and that is rather an easy task, but I will just tell you to do this thing in 2 ways. Number one, usually the introduction is the paragraph that has an independent statement. That is to say, it is not connected with any other previous paragraphs. And how do you know that? Again, you can work some clues. For example, usually when a paragraph starts with pronouns, for example, he, she, it, that, this is not going to be the introduction. Also, conjunctions such as but and transitional words such as however, in addition, as a result, or such, like such example, such abuse, or you can say in some cases determiners like the, but for the you have to be very careful, because for example, if the paragraph starts with the United States, that can be the introduction. But in some cases, for example, if any paragraph specifies something before any previous discussion, then this is not going with the, then this is not going to be the introduction. For example, the device was initially invented by dash dash dash. So what device are you talking about? So this cannot be the introduction. So that is one part, that you look for a paragraph that is independent, and usually when a paragraph contains the or, as I said, pronouns or conjunctions or something like that, this is not introduction. The other point is that sometimes though you get confused between 2 paragraphs as to which one should be introduction, because both the paragraphs seem quite credible to be the introduction. But in this case, only one will be introduction. No, 2 paragraphs cannot be introduction, right? So when you have conflict between 2 paragraphs as to which one should be the introduction, try to find out which paragraph of these 2 contains information that precedes the other one. That is to say, that should come before the other one. Usually the sequence of events, sometimes years, though not, sometimes it could be confusing, but in some cases years, or the sequence of event should be important. The first previous event should come as the introduction. Let me give you one example that should be clear. For example, there is a passage about a person who has assumed a number of government roles, and initially, so there are 2 paragraphs, like in one paragraph it says he was the finance minister, and in the other paragraph it says he was the prime minister. So and you think that it is quite possible that either of the paragraphs could be the introduction, but then you have to follow the sequence of event logically. For example, he was finance minister first and then prime minister. It is not possible that he was prime minister first and then finance minister. So you can then go with the sequence of event. So the paragraph containing the information regarding him being the finance minister should be the introduction. That is one clue. The other one is that sometimes this even doesn't work. In that case, you should go for the broader context. For example, when they're talking about technological advancements in one paragraph, and in the other they talk about mobile phones, and both seem again to be confusing as to which one should be the introduction. So the logic says that technological advancement is a broader sense than mobile phone, because mobile phone comes under this. So the paragraph containing technological advancement could be the introduction, and probably that introduces mobile phone later. So that could be the introduction. So I have actually talked about how to find introduction in two ways basically, or probably three ways. The first one is that you look for words that do not make it introduction, pronounce, determiners sometimes, or connecting words like but, however, although they do not usually, or they never make any passage, an introductory passage. And then if that is not working, then probably that will definitely work, because there has to be an independent paragraph. But if in case you are confused between two paragraphs and both look to be introductory paragraph, you go for those two other clues. For example, one is that the sequence of event, you don't find it, look for the broader sense of the topic. Alright, so now the most important part, that you have to connect the next paragraph with the introduction, and then after that the following paragraphs. And I wouldn't say this is quite difficult, because that depends on practice. Many find it difficult because they don't practice, or probably they decide on it at the first go, which is not possible. You have to work on it day after day, and you have to be very observant. So now remember, once you have found the introduction, the introductory paragraph will definitely have a clue to the connecting paragraph, and the clue is usually given in two ways. The first one could be, one of the two things may be there. For example, a clue of a word. One or two words in the introduction may be found in the connecting paragraph, probably exactly the same word, or synonyms, or even antonyms. For example, the paragraph, one paragraph contains the word, for example, one paragraph, the introductory paragraph contains the word agriculture, and then in another paragraph you have the word farming. So they are quite synonymous. So it is quite possible that the paragraph containing the word farming will come right after agriculture, but you have to quickly cross-check. So that is one clue. The other clue is the context, of course. You have to follow what is discussed in the introductory paragraph. Is it about a mountain? Is it about a phone? Is it about technology? So there will be definitely a connecting paragraph to that, which will have either an extension of the previous statement or an opposite statement. For example, let me give you one example. Agriculture nowadays is booming in this part of the country, and people have assumed that this is going to be a key factor for the economy of this country, say for example. So now the discussion starts with agriculture and its contribution to economy. So either you find a clue of a word, for example, agriculture, farming, economy, finance, or financial stability, something like that, or you will find the connecting event in the next paragraph that connects the introduction. For example, this sector is considered to be a vital one for this and this. So what is this sector? Definitely the sector of agriculture, the agricultural sector. So this sector will give you the answer in the introductory paragraph. And remember, any paragraph that starts with this sector, this cannot be the introductory paragraph, because it starts with this. And what is this? On the other hand, it is also possible that the connecting paragraph might contain something opposite. For example, the introductory paragraph starts with a positive note that agriculture is contributing to the economy of this country. But there may be a paragraph which says however, but, then it goes opposite, like but. This is always questionable as to how we are handling this sector, which is quite profitable for any country. So they raise a question with but, which is against the previous topic, or probably opposite, or something that raises concern. So you have to find those clues. Again, I repeat, once you find the introduction, in order to find the connecting paragraph, you have to find based on two clues. Number one, clue of words, a synonym, antonym may be there, or even the same word, or the context, as I have discussed now. In agricultural sector, they are saying this sector, or even say the financial stability of this country heavily depends on agriculture, so you might find agriculture again. So this is how you can connect the paragraphs, and these work if you practice. If you don't, then you cannot expect, because it heavily depends on practice. Now I'm going to show a demonstration of how to solve the reorder paragraphs. As you can see on the screen, there is a paragraph which is not put in order. So your job is to find out the introduction and the other connecting paragraphs. So I will guide you through with all the techniques that I've discussed so far. Let's have a look at the paragraphs now. The first one says, one was a priest in Rome, another a bishop in Tournai, and then it goes on. So it gives examples of some saints all of a sudden. So this cannot be the introduction, because what is the purpose for giving example of saints? Then it says the second one, which Saint Valentine this early pope intended to. So the moment you read this early pope, you discard this option, because this early pope means there has to be mention of a pope before this paragraph. Then you find the name of the paragraph, pope, in the third paragraph, that says Pope Glacius first recast this pagan festival. But again, there is a problem, because what is this pagan festival? It doesn't say anything about it. So there has to be another previous paragraph that makes it clear about this pagan festival or what it is. Then you have the history of Valentine's Day is obscure and further clouded by various fanciful legends. So the moment you read this paragraph, it seems to be the introduction. But for cross-check, you read the fifth one, the holidays. So the holiday means the Valentine's Day. So the fourth one will be definitely the introduction. So when you put it as the introduction, then you have to find the connecting paragraph. So now again, let's have a look at the introductory paragraph, the fourth one, that says that the history of Valentine's Day is obscure. It talks about history of this day, and it says that it is obscure, that is unclear, and further clouded by. So look at the choice of words: history, obscure, clouded, legends. That means stories. That means the history of this festival is not clear, and there are lots of stories about that. So now if you want to find a connecting paragraph and you go back to the first one, it says one was a priest in Rome. Again, why is the example now? Because the introduction doesn't connect to any example. Forget it. Then which Saint Valentine this early pope? Again, we have to have a pope. So we come to Pope Glacius first because this pagan festival. It seems that it could be the second paragraph, but again, then we have to be sure by reading the fifth one. The fifth one says this holiday's roots. The holiday means the Valentine's Day, which comes in the introductory paragraph. And then you have roots are in the ancient Roman festival. So root means history, the beginning, and beginning actually is a part of history. So that should go with the first one. And also the paragraph says the holiday, that refers to the Valentine's Day. So the fourth one is introduction, the fifth one is the second paragraph. And then you have in the second paragraph a fertility celebration commemorated annually on February 15. You have a date which is February 15. That is initially the day it was celebrated on. So now you have another date, as you can see in the third paragraph, which is February 14th, and it has a connection there. Also, if you read the paragraph, Pope Glacius first recast this pagan festival as a Christian feast day. So recast means he changed it. It was initially February 15, and he changed it to February 14 to be Saint Valentine's Day. Now the Pope mentions a saint. So now we have the name of the Pope, and we also know that he has mentioned a saint. And then again, if you go back to the first one, it doesn't match. One was a priest, blah blah blah. Before that, you have to look at the second paragraph, which says, which Saint Valentine this early pope? Who's this early pope? The Pope Glacius in the third paragraph, as you can see. And he mentioned one Valentine. So it says, which Valentine, Saint Valentine's this early pope intended to honor remains a mystery. Now comes the question of it being mysterious. And according to the Catholic Encyclopedia, there were at least 3 early Christian saints by that name. It says 3 Christian saints, and then you have those three Christian saints' names in the first paragraph, which should go in the 5th position, and the previous one, the second one, that should go in the 4th position. So let me give you the order, and as you can see in the screenshot there, it is now put in order. The history of, as you can see, it is there already, so I don't have to read that, right? So that is how you can find out the order of those paragraphs that are not put in order initially, and your job is to put them in order. So these are the clues you should be working. Always look for clues from the introductory paragraph to the 4th or the last one. So now, before I finish, let me give you one task. I'm going to show you a paragraph, reorder paragraph, which you have never seen before in any books, because that has been developed by me, this part. So all you do is like look at the paragraphs, and you will have 2 minutes to complete the task. Just make an order in a piece of paper, just write the numbers, and then you see the answer on the screen and match your understanding. Okay, but don't worry if it doesn't match properly. If you're doing it for the first time, it requires a lot of practice. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe my channel and keep watching, because I'll be uploading a lot more videos on PTE and other tasks of English. Thank you.